Hello, Mrs. Jameson. I'm Annabella Arce, and today I am going to be sharing with you my reflection on my running speech. So, for this video today, my goals are going to be to analyze your feedback, create my 3 goals, and connect concepts. I'm also reading off of the feedback that you gave me on Canvas, in case you're wondering what I'm reading off of. Yeah. I'm also sorry if the quality is not as great. I'm recording this on my computer to hopefully refrain from any submitting issues, because recently I think we both know I've had really bad submission issues. So yeah. So my strengths in this speech were definitely my ethos and credibility. As you said, I did have very strong credibility because I shared my personal experiences on running throughout my speech, and this helped the audience to sort of trust what I was saying a little more and maybe engage them at the same time. So another thing that was strong that you mentioned was my audience connection in my second and third body paragraphs. They were both about discipline and applying the mental strengths of running to the outside world. So because this made my audience connection strong, because I was able to connect running and its mental health benefits to the audience's everyday lives, such as I did this by connecting it to studying, doing homework, basically applying that dedication somewhere else. Another strength was my delivery. You said I was a poised and prepared speaker, and you also said I did have strong extemporaneous delivery. I did practice my speech many times to make sure that I wasn't just reading off of my notes like this the entire time. I wanted to make sure that I was sort of just bouncing off of the points that I had written down. And this allowed for my excellent eye contact. You also made note of my vocal variety, which I also feel like I made it a very key point in my other video, that I am not a fan of monotonous speaking, and I did want to make it very conversational to hopefully engage the audience a little more, so that way they weren't bored when listening to me speak. So my weaknesses. My first weakness was definitely my hook, as you mentioned, and I definitely don't think it was a very strong attention getter. I asked the audience about how many runs they've ever missed or how many times they've thought about running. However, it didn't align with my thesis, because my whole thesis was that running builds character. But I don't really think that this was a very strong hook to use, just because, like you said, what if some people in the audience don't think about running at all? So it would have been better to sort of make an effort to refer to the central idea, and next time I will do as you said and just ask them about any activity that has sort of made them feel disciplined and motivational. My second weakness was my organization and my structure. You did make a point, and I do completely agree with it. My first body paragraph was very weak. I did throw in cardiovascular health and mood and stress and a bunch of other different things into one paragraph, which I feel like was not the smartest decision. However, I probably should have left, like you said, the cardiovascular health part out, just because looking back on it now, it is like very common knowledge to anybody that running helps with your heart. So maybe I could have just inserted a more engaging fact. So for my actionable goals, my first goal is to create a much better aligned hook. So the overall target would be basically fix my entire introduction, but I think I'm going to probably write down 2 different hooks and test them out and see how I like them, and see if it sort of caters to what you said, because that'll definitely be better, and see which one supports my thesis. My second goal is to sort of use a filter when I'm doing my information and also strengthen my points, because I feel like my second and third body paragraphs were very strong compared to the first one, but obviously, ideally, you'd want it super strong all throughout. So I'm going to work on that and listing my main points for my speech. My third goal is to expand my personal narrative. And by doing this, I will sort of speak upon my experience as a runner a little more, or whatever I'm talking about, speak upon my experience. That way, this can also get the audience to engage and trust in what I'm saying, trust in me as a person. And I will do that to sort of, maybe I'll just do a little bit of self-reflection to help figure out what I want to write down for that. And so for my looking ahead portion, I will basically, looking ahead, my preparation and my research skills were the strongest parts of my speech, and as well as my extemporaneous speaking. And for future application, I will strengthen my body paragraphs and my introduction. And thank you for all your feedback. I'm very excited to hopefully make my speech better.